Welcome back to the layout. It is Sunday, July 21st, and I am trying out a new microphone to go with my cell phone to do this, and I'm hoping that it works better than just the iPhone microphone. This is a wireless one made in China by some unknown company, and it's funny because when I look at it, with the little I guess sound filter or puffy that they put on it, it kind of looks like Tina Turner or it looks like a Tribble. You guys can tell me. Does this look like Tina Turner? Rolling on a river, rolling on a river. Or it could be a Tribble. Never know. But anyway, we're going to give this a try and see how this works. And we're going to switch out Clairton today and get the train ready for the outbound crew, who will come in at a later date and finish up. To review, Clairton has the coke tracks back here. In the very back, we have, let's see if I can get there. There's the ore tracks back there. You can see the little tags that tell everybody that it runs here where they're going. We have the scrap track. We have yard tracks here. We have the limestone track, and we'll spin around here. We got a couple more yard tracks of storage here. Tank car track. This is the interchange with the Montour Railroad, and over here is PPG Industries, which is switched by this crew, but we're not going to switch them today. We're going to let the outbound crew at the next operating session pick that up. We're just going to do the in the mill industries and go from there. So let's try this microphone out. The last time I tried it, it was a complete and total failure because apparently my movie making software needed a codec of some sort to pick it up, and this microphone, my little Tina Turner, has noise cancellation on it, and when I used that as an experiment, you couldn't hear the train. You could hear me, but you couldn't hear the train. So let's try it this time without the noise cancellation and see what kind of mess we can make. Here we go. Our power for the day is former Penn Central, now Pittsburgh and Lake Erie GP38, number 2033, which was, converted over from Penn Central to Pittsburgh and Lake Erie by Matt Adams, and he did an excellent job on it. I believe he also did the DCC install on it, and let's see how it sounds. Let's hope this works. I'm hoping that you can hear that without the noise cancellation on. Sounds marvelous. Matt did a wonderful job on it, and this is going to be what we're going to use to switch out the mill and get this outbound train put together. First things first, though, we're going to have to take our caboose and put it out of the way somewhere. It'll go all the way down at the end of what I call the back runner, which is the track all the way in the back of all these industries that goes under here, and there's about a car length or so underneath here that the back runner dead ends. So we'll put the caboose back there first, and then we'll start getting these cars together. First order of business would be to probably pull these coke cars, which were pulled from the industry last time and weighed at our little scale house right here, and then we'll reach back into the back here and pull these coke cars, run them over the scale, and then we'll put them away in the yard because they're not going to leave this time. They'll leave next time. So let's go ahead and get this caboose put away, and we'll get ourselves started here. I'm not going to be ringing the bell constantly selling ice cream, and I'm not going to be blowing the horn every time I change direction, so don't worry about that. So we got a switch against us, so we'll take a break and go line ourselves up. Not letting the camera run constantly while you all watch throwing switches and uncoupling cars and all that probably speeds up this process a little bit, because this can be quite the tedious process to put one of these little videos together. The one I tried to do yesterday, it took me about an hour and 45 minutes all told, and I only ended up with 39 minutes of video. The only problem was the video was virtually soundless, so I had to scrap that whole idea, and once I got the software fixed, had to start all over again, and that brings us to today. So we got our caboose dropped off. Let's go ahead and get these Coke cars over here on the right and put them up against the caboose, and then we'll start doing some switching and let the entertainment begin. One of the other issues I had last time was, well, the last video that I posted, it was mentioned that a majority of the video was out of focus, and unfortunately, when working with an iPhone, you're pretty much at the mercy of Apple, because the silly autofocus doesn't necessarily want to, hey, look at that, the coupling didn't make, doesn't necessarily want to play fair when it comes to focus. So sometimes you have to do the manual focus lock, and sometimes it cuts off and then it goes back to autofocus, and next thing you know you're focusing on something in Nebraska. So we'll just have to tolerate that until I come up with another solution. Let me get this thing coupled and we'll pull these cars out, shove them back up against the caboose, and start switching. According to our switch list, it appears we're going to be doing everything except for the ore track, which is empty in the background there on the right. So it's going to be a little bit busy. I'm going to try and cut it down to a reasonable amount of time. I may skip one or two industries just for the purposes of saving some time. Again, we're just putting the train together for the next crew, so that'll help save some time there, because we're not going to run to the yard and drop off our train and pick up another one and come back. That'll be the next crew's job. The conductor has decided to do some strategic switching and has decided he wants to go pick up these cars to be weighed first. The back runner is limited on space, so we need to strategically switch so that we have enough room to put all these things together and get these cars lined up and ready to go. Let's see, give it a stretch and see if we got it. We do. So in the meantime, we'll knock some brakes off and we'll go ahead and put the air in on these cars, and then we'll reach over to Coke track number 2 to the right, grab the other 3 cars, and then we'll run them across the scale. We'll go over and grab those now. The scale track is a little bit of operational time consuming that I have incorporated in this particular job. The scale house, which the engine is going by right now, weighs each car and sets up a weigh card for it for the customer service department, and each car has to be weighed individually. And what we do is we stop, we wait for about 5 seconds, let them get a good weight on it, and then we pull ahead and go to the next car, and we wait about 5 seconds on that one. And it takes a little bit of time, but it adds to the enjoyment, I think, and my operators seem to think it helps to, it lengthens the run and makes it more realistic. So as part of the operation, I'm going to keep it, and we're just going to keep on weighing cars. So once all these cars are weighed, we will set them off in one of the empty yard tracks. The track right behind these cars will hold 5 of them, and we got 7, so we'll drag the other 2 up to the other end of the yard and pick up some other loads that we need to spot up, and then we'll go ahead and put the rest of them away and see about going on to the next industry. So that's the scale track for you. As I mentioned, we're going to be handling the Montour Interchange as well. The 6 cars that are here are empties, and they are going to go over to the coke tracks to get loaded with coke. But we're going to stop short of the first coupling so that the conductor or the assistant conductor can get off the engine and take out the wheel chalk, which is underneath the wheel there. These are homemade wheel chalks that I designed and made because some of my industry sidings are on a slight grade, and this is one of the tracks where these cars would have a tendency to roll out of. So I created this little wheel chalk, and it holds pretty well underneath the wheel, keeps the car in place, and they're pretty easy to make. So now that it's out of the way, let's see if we can couple up to these 2. I think we got them. We'll give it a stretch and see. Nope, sure didn't. Alright, ignore the giant hand in the sky and the giant chopstick. Try again. That time I think we got it. That looked a whole lot better. Nope. The best laid plans. Let's try again. Maybe if I hit it a little harder. Now that time it went click. So let's see what that did for me. There we go. Alright, we'll put the air in, knock the brakes off, and go over and grab the other 4. Alright, so we've picked up and run around these empty cars off the Montour. And we're going to shove them off over here in coke track number 1, which is the one to the left. Number 2 is to the right. I'm going to shove all these cars off here, and they'll get loaded. The Montour will be up later to drop off more cars at the interchange. Right now we don't have anything to go back with them, so they'll come up, drop off what they've got, and go back light, which I'm sure they'll be very happy with. And we'll get these cars set out, and then we'll have another run around to do from the tank track because it's a facing point switch going the opposite direction. And we got these all situated. They're spotted where they need to be for now. And let's go, oh, I don't know, let's go switch something. We'll just let the conductor figure it out. He's pretty good at that kind of stuff. Our crew has coupled up to 3 scrap gons, which are going to get spotted in the scrap tracks, and we go over and switch them. And we're going to pick up these 2 covered hoppers here as well, because they go over to the Limestone track. We've got 2 empties to pull out of there, so we might as well just grab all that stuff at once, and that way we can make room for the cars we pull, so that we can double the train together easier when the time comes. So we'll pull these 3 scrap gons, grab the 2 covered hoppers, and start working on those 2 locations We still got a couple of coke cars we got to get rid of, so we might just grab those and set them in here as well. We're going to go ahead and gather up these two empties out of the limestone track and spot the other two cars in. And hopefully the couplers will cooperate, but I'm not very confident about that. It doesn't look like they coupled. Let's give it a stretch and see. Nope, of course. Alright, let me fix that. Alright, we got them. So let's go ahead and pull them out. And there's not a whole lot of room on the back runner, so we're just going to set those down the scale track. And I think that's where all the other pulls are going to go for the time being, until we have more room, which is fine because we got plenty of room down the front runner and over towards the coke tracks. So we'll set these two out, set two back in, and then we'll attack the scrap track. And we'll set these two loads in and grab the scrap track. And I think I'm going to shorten this up by not taking you all over to the tank track and the run around and all that, because that just takes up a lot of time. So we got these two cars set in here. We'll head over to the scrap track, switch that out, and I think we'll call this one done for the moment. Yep, there goes that giant hand again. Alright, let's go into the scrap track and see what we can do over here. We've got one car that has not been unloaded, and that's right here. So that's going to be a respot. There's 4 inside the building that have to come out, and then we'll respot this and the other 3. And that'll be 4 out and 4 in. So let's see if we give it a stretch. See if we got this one. Hey, we did. Alright, air in, knock the brakes off. Let's pick this up after we pick these up, the empties, and we'll spot the loads. Well, as luck would have it, the yard master called us and said that we can skip the tank track. He said that the road crew that's going to take this train out can switch it when they get back in, because it'll be a trailing point switch for them, and it'll be easier that way. And that tank car they were going to pull is not a high priority car anyway, so it can just go out on the next train. So we're going to go ahead and get these tracks spotted up with the scrap. We're going to grab the rest of the train, and we are going to double the train together, do an air test, and call it a day. And we will let the next crew get the rest of this and take it to the yard. Two more cars go in a scrap. Grab that line of cars at the bottom of your screen. Double to the rest of the train on the back runner. And do an air test, and I think that's going to be it. This job does take a lot of time on its own, and I am editing quite a bit of the boring, slow stuff out, so you're not sitting looking at the screen for 4 hours going, come on Johnson, you gonna do something here? So let's get this thing doubled up and let him do the air test, and we'll call it a night. And so for the last move on this job, we double the train together and let the crew do their air test, and they can tie the train down. And when the outbound crew gets called, it'll be ready to go. We'll get all their paperwork together for them, We'll get their switch list and an air slip and all that good stuff for them. Because we're a nice crew. Let's see if we got all the cars. Give it a little stretch. I'll be darned, we got them this time. So that's going to pretty much wrap this up, where we have our heroic GP38. And got to make sure that you say goodbye to Tina Turner, the triple. So, I'm a triple. Y'all have a great weekend.